The convoy rolled into the gas station like a wave of steel and leather. 20 motorcycles filled the lot, their engines cutting through the cold Montana air. The sound was deep and constant. It rattled the windows of the small convenience store and sent vibrations through the concrete. Marcus Webb climbed off his bike slowly. His brothers were already moving, stretching their backs and pulling off their gloves. Someone shouted about needing coffee. Another laughed about the cold. Marcus said nothing. He rubbed his left arm without thinking, his jaw tight. No one noticed. He walked toward the store, his boots heavy on the pavement. His chest felt strange, tight, like something was pressing down from the inside. He told himself it was nothing. Just tired. Just the long ride. He had been on the road for 6 hours straight. Near the air pump, a small girl sat on the curb. She wore a purple jacket that had seen too many winters. Her sneakers were scuffed at the toes. Her dark hair was pulled back in a ponytail. She was watching the bikers with quiet eyes. Her name was Lily Chen. She was 7 years old. She came here every day after school and waited for her grandmother to finish her shift inside. She knew this place. She knew the sound of the pumps. She knew the smell of gasoline and burnt coffee. She knew how to be invisible, but she was not invisible now. Marcus passed her without looking down. She turned her head and followed him with her eyes. Something about the way he moved made her stomach tighten. He was slow, careful, like he was trying not to show pain. He stopped near the store entrance. He leaned against the brick wall for just a moment. His hand went to his chest. He pressed it there, fingers spread wide. His breathing was shallow. Then he straightened up and walked inside like nothing had happened. Lily stood up. Her grandfather had moved like that once, 2 years ago, on a Sunday morning. He had pressed his hand to his chest just like that. He had leaned against the kitchen counter. He had tried to smile and said he was fine. Her grandmother had called the ambulance. But it was too late. Lily remembered her grandmother crying in the hospital hallway. She remembered the doctor's voice, calm, steady, explaining what the signs had been, the arm pain, the sweating, the shortness of breath, the pale skin. She looked at the bikers in the lot. They were loud. They were laughing. They did not see what she saw. Lily walked toward the store. Her hands were clenched into fists. Her heart was beating fast. She was just a kid. She did not know these people. She did not know if they would believe her. She did not know if she was even right, but she kept walking. She reached the glass door and looked inside. Marcus was near the back of the store, leaning heavily against a metal shelf. His face was pale. His forehead was damp. He was breathing through his mouth now. His hand was still pressed against his chest. Lily's throat felt tight. She knew what this was. She had seen it before. She pushed the door open. She pushed the door open. The bell above the entrance chimed softly. Marcus did not turn around. He was still leaning against the shelf, one hand braced on the metal edge, his other hand pressed against his chest. His breathing was shallow and uneven. Lily stopped just inside the doorway. Her grandmother was behind the counter at the far end of the store, ringing up a customer. She had not noticed Marcus yet. She had not noticed Lily either. Lily's mind went back 2 years, to a Sunday morning in their small kitchen. Her grandfather had been making pancakes. She remembered the smell of butter and syrup. She remembered sitting at the table with her coloring book. Then she heard the sound of something hitting the floor. She looked up and saw him leaning against the counter, his hand on his chest, his face pale and wet with sweat. Her grandmother had screamed. Lily had not understood what was happening. She watched her grandmother grab the phone and dial. She watched her grandfather slide down to the floor. She watched the paramedics come through the front door. She watched them try to help. She watched them fail. Afterward, her grandmother sat with her on the couch and cried. May explained what a heart attack was. She explained the warning signs, the arm pain, the chest pressure, the shortness of breath, the cold sweat. She said she wished she had noticed sooner. She said she wished she had called for help the moment he said he felt tired. Lily never forgot those words. Now she stood in the gas station, watching Marcus struggle to breathe. She knew what this was. She had seen it before. If she did nothing, he might not make it to the next hour. Her hands were shaking. She was 7 years old. She did not know how to explain what she was seeing. She did not know if anyone would believe her. But she had to try. Lily walked toward Marcus. Her steps were small and quiet. She stopped a few feet away from him. He still had not noticed her. His eyes were closed. His jaw was clenched tight. She spoke softly. "Mister." Marcus opened his eyes. He looked down at her. His expression was confused. He tried to smile. "Hey there, kiddo. You okay?" Lily shook her head. "You're not okay." Marcus straightened up slightly. He tried to look normal. He tried to sound normal. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Just a little tired from the ride." Lily did not move. She looked at his hand, still pressed against his chest. She looked at his face, pale and damp. She looked at the way he was breathing, like he could not get enough air. "My grandpa looked like you," she said quietly, "before he died." Marcus froze. The smile faded from his face. He stared at her. Lily's voice was steady now. She was not crying. She was not panicking. She was just telling the truth. "He had a heart attack. He didn't want to worry anyone. He said he was just tired. But he wasn't. And then he fell down. And then he was gone." Marcus's hand dropped from his chest. He looked at Lily like he was seeing her for the first time. His breathing was still labored. His face was still pale. But now there was something else in his eyes. Fear, recognition. "You need help," Lily said. "Right now." Marcus opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. His legs buckled slightly. He grabbed the shelf again to steady himself. His other hand went back to his chest. This time he pressed harder, his face twisted in pain. Lily turned toward the counter. Her grandmother was still busy with the customer. The bikers outside were still laughing and talking. No one was paying attention. She looked back at Marcus. He was sliding down now, his back against the shelf. His breathing was coming in short gasps. His eyes were wide. Lily ran. Lily ran. Her sneakers slapped against the tile floor. She reached the counter and grabbed the edge with both hands. The clerk was looking down at his phone. His name was Derek. He worked here most afternoons. He never paid much attention to anything. "Call an ambulance," Lily said. Derek looked up slowly. He blinked at her. "What?" "Call an ambulance right now." Her voice was louder this time. She pointed toward the back of the store. "That man is having a heart attack." Derek stood up and leaned over the counter. He looked where she was pointing. His face changed. Marcus was on his knees now, one hand braced against the refrigerator door. His other hand was pressed hard against his chest. His head was bowed. His shoulders were shaking. Derek grabbed the phone. His hands fumbled with the buttons. He dialed and pressed the phone to his ear. His voice was shaky when he spoke to the dispatcher. "Yeah, we need an ambulance at the Bridger Falls gas station. There's a guy here. He's having a heart attack or something. He's on the floor." Lily did not wait to hear the rest. She turned and ran back to Marcus. He had slid down to the floor completely now. His back was against the refrigerator. His legs were stretched out in front of him. His breathing was fast and shallow. Each breath sounded like it hurt. Sweat soaked through his shirt. His face was the color of wet concrete. Lily knelt beside him. She did not touch him. She did not know if she was supposed to, but she stayed close. She looked at his face and spoke in the calmest voice she could manage. "Help is coming," she said. "You need to stay awake. Just keep breathing." Marcus opened his eyes. They were unfocused. He looked at her like he was trying to remember who she was. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Lily kept talking. "The ambulance is on the way. You're going to be okay. Just stay awake. Don't close your eyes." Marcus's hand slipped from his chest and fell to his side. His head tilted back against the refrigerator. His eyelids started to droop. Lily's heart pounded harder. She looked toward the front of the store. Derek was still on the phone, giving directions to the dispatcher. Outside, the bikers were still laughing and talking. They had no idea what was happening. She stood up and ran to the door. She pushed it open and stepped outside. The cold air hit her face. The sound of engines and voices filled her ears. 20 men in leather jackets stood around their motorcycles. They were relaxed. Some were drinking coffee, some were smoking. One was wiping down his bike with a rag. They looked like they had all the time in the world. Lily did not know which one to talk to. She did not know their names. She only knew that Marcus was their leader and that he was dying inside. She walked toward the closest biker. He was tall, with a gray beard and sunglasses. He was laughing at something another man had said. Lily stopped in front of him and looked up. "Your friend is in trouble," she said. The man stopped laughing. He looked down at her. His smile faded. "What?" "The man who went inside. He's having a heart attack. He's on the floor." The biker's face went still. He pulled off his sunglasses. His eyes were sharp and serious. "Where is he?" "Inside. By the drinks." The man turned and shouted to the others, "Marcus is down! Inside the store! Move!" The entire group reacted instantly. Conversations stopped. Coffee cups were dropped. Men started running toward the store entrance. Their boots pounded against the pavement. The relaxed atmosphere vanished in seconds. Lily stepped aside as they rushed past her. She watched them disappear through the glass door. She could hear their voices inside, loud and urgent. Derek shouted from the front counter, "Ambulance is on the way! They said 10 minutes!" One of the bikers knelt beside Marcus. He was older, with a shaved head and tattoos covering both arms. He checked Marcus's pulse. He looked at Marcus's face. He turned to the others and said something Lily could not hear. Another biker pulled out his phone and started recording. Not for entertainment, for the paramedics, to show them what they were walking into. Lily stood in the doorway watching. Her hands were still shaking. Her chest felt tight. She had done what she could. She had spoken up. She had gotten help. But Marcus's eyes were closed now. His breathing was barely visible. The bikers were talking to him, trying to keep him conscious. One of them was on the phone with the dispatcher, following instructions. Lily looked down the highway. No ambulance yet, just empty road stretching into the distance. She looked back at Marcus. His face was still gray. His chest was still. And she realized that 10 minutes might be too long. She looked back at Marcus. His face was still gray. His chest was still. And she realized that 10 minutes might be too long. The bikers surrounded him now. They formed a tight circle, blocking him from view. Lily could hear their voices, urgent and low. One of them was giving orders. His voice was steady and commanding. Jackson was on his knees, beside Marcus. He had his fingers pressed against Marcus's neck, checking for a pulse. His other hand was on Marcus's shoulder. He leaned close to Marcus's face and spoke directly into his ear. "Marcus, stay with me. You hear me? Stay with me." Marcus did not respond. His head lolled to the side. His mouth was slightly open. His breathing was so shallow, it was almost invisible. Jackson looked up at the others. "Get the first aid kit from my bike. Now." One of the bikers turned and sprinted out the door. His boots hammered against the pavement outside. The sound echoed through the store. Another biker pulled out his phone and dialed. He spoke quickly and clearly. "This is a medical emergency at Bridger Falls gas station. We have a 52-year-old male, suspected cardiac arrest. Ambulance is already en route, but we need the hospital prepped. He's unconscious and his pulse is weak." Jackson kept his hand on Marcus's neck. He was counting silently, monitoring the heartbeat. His jaw was tight. His eyes were focused. Lily stood near the refrigerator, her back against the cold metal. Her grandmother appeared beside her. May wrapped her arm around Lily's shoulders and pulled her close. May's hand was warm. Her grip was firm. "What happened, baby?" May asked softly. Lily's voice was quiet but steady. "He was sick. I saw it. He looked like Grandpa did." May's breath caught. She looked down at Lily, then across the store at Marcus. Her eyes filled with understanding. She pulled Lily closer. The biker who had run outside returned with a red canvas bag. He handed it to Jackson. Jackson unzipped it and pulled out a small oxygen mask. He placed it over Marcus's nose and mouth. He adjusted the straps and turned on the portable tank. Marcus's chest rose slightly. The oxygen was helping, but not enough. Jackson checked the pulse again. His face darkened. "His heart rate is dropping. We need that ambulance here now." One of the bikers ran to the door and looked out. "I can hear the sirens. They're close." Jackson nodded, but did not look up. He kept his focus on Marcus. He spoke to him again, his voice firm and insistent. "Marcus, you stay with us. You hear me? Your boys are here. We're not losing you today." Marcus's eyelids fluttered. For a moment his eyes opened halfway. They were unfocused and glassy. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Lily stepped forward. May tried to hold her back, but Lily pulled away gently. She walked to the edge of the circle. The bikers saw her and shifted slightly, making space. She knelt down beside Jackson. She looked at Marcus's face. His skin was cold and damp. His breathing was labored, even with the oxygen mask. "You're going to be okay," Lily said quietly. "The doctors are almost here. You just have to hold on a little longer." Marcus's eyes moved toward her. For a brief second, they focused. He saw her. Recognition flickered across his face. His hand moved slightly, trembling. His fingers reached out and touched the side of her shoe. It was a small gesture, barely noticeable, but Lily saw it. Jackson saw it too. He glanced at Lily, then at May, standing a few feet away. His expression shifted. Understanding settled over his features. He looked back at Lily with something close to respect. "You saw it, didn't you?" Jackson said. "You saw what we missed." Lily nodded. She did not say anything else. She did not need to. The sirens grew louder. The sound filled the store, sharp and insistent. Red and white lights flashed through the windows. The bikers near the door moved outside to guide the ambulance in. Jackson kept his hand on Marcus's pulse. His face was tense. He was counting again, measuring the beats. His mouth pressed into a thin line. "Come on, Marcus," he muttered. "Come on." The ambulance pulled into the parking lot. The engine cut off. Doors slammed open. Two paramedics rushed toward the store entrance carrying bags and equipment. One of them had a stretcher. The other had a defibrillator. They pushed through the door and moved quickly to Marcus. Jackson stood up and stepped aside, giving them room. He spoke rapidly, giving them the details: age, symptoms, timeline, current status. One of the paramedics knelt beside Marcus and checked his vitals. The other one opened the defibrillator case and started prepping the pads. Their movements were fast and practiced. Jackson stepped back toward the other bikers. His face was pale. His hands were clenched into fists at his sides. The paramedic checking Marcus's pulse looked up at his partner. His voice was calm but urgent. "Pulse is weak and irregular. We need to move fast." The second paramedic placed the defibrillator pads on Marcus's chest. The machine powered on with a high-pitched whine. Lily watched from where she stood. Her grandmother pulled her back gently, away from the scene. May's hand was tight around Lily's shoulder. The paramedic looked at the machine screen. His jaw tightened. He glanced at his partner and said something too quiet for anyone else to hear, and Marcus's heart stopped. The defibrillator screen went flat. A single high-pitched tone filled the store. The paramedic's hand froze over the controls. Her partner moved instantly, positioning himself for chest compressions. "Starting CPR," he said. His voice was steady and mechanical. He placed his hands on Marcus's chest and began pushing down in rapid, rhythmic compressions. The sound was dull and heavy. Each push made Marcus's body jerk slightly against the floor. The female paramedic charged the defibrillator. The machine whined louder. She looked at her partner. "Clear." He lifted his hands away. She pressed the paddles to Marcus's chest. His body convulsed. The shock sent a visible jolt through him. His back arched off the floor for a split second, then collapsed back down. The paramedic checked the monitor. The line was still flat. "Again," she said, "charging." The machine whined. She waited for the light. "Clear." Another shock, another convulsion. Marcus's body jerked and fell still. The bikers stood frozen. Their faces were pale. Their fists were clenched. No one spoke. No one moved. They just watched. Lily felt her grandmother's hand tighten on her shoulder. May pulled her back, another step, away from the scene. But Lily kept her eyes on Marcus. The paramedic checked the monitor again. This time a faint beep sounded. Then another, slow and irregular, but present. "We have a pulse," she said. Her voice was calm, but there was relief in it. "Weak, but it's there." Her partner immediately resumed checking vitals. He adjusted the oxygen mask. He checked the IV line. His hands moved quickly and precisely. The female paramedic stood and looked at Jackson. "We need to move now. Is there a hospital nearby?" Jackson shook his head. "Billings, 45 minutes east." "That's where we're going." She turned to her partner. "Get the stretcher ready. We transport immediately." They lifted Marcus onto the stretcher in one smooth motion. The wheels locked into place. They secured the straps across his chest and legs. The monitors stayed attached, beeping softly. The IV bag hung from a hook on the stretcher frame. Rachel, the lead paramedic, looked at Jackson. "I need information. Age, medical history, medications, anything you know." Jackson stepped forward. 52, former military, no known heart conditions. He was on blood pressure medication, but I don't know the name. He's been complaining about fatigue for the past week, but he didn't want to slow down the ride. Rachel nodded, absorbing every word. "Allergies?" "None that I know of." "Next of kin?" "Ex-wife in Colorado, daughter in Seattle. I have their numbers." "Good, call them. Tell them we're transporting to Billings Medical Center." Rachel turned to her partner. "Let's move." They started wheeling the stretcher toward the door. The bikers stepped aside, creating a clear path. Their faces were grim. Their eyes followed Marcus as he passed. Rachel paused near the entrance. She looked around the store, her gaze sweeping across the faces. Who noticed the symptoms first? May stepped forward. She placed her hand on Lily's shoulder and gently guided her forward. "My granddaughter did." Rachel looked down at Lily. She crouched to meet her at eye level. Her expression softened. "What's your name?" "Lily." "Lily, you did exactly the right thing. You saw what was happening and you got help. That's why this man is still alive." Rachel's voice was firm and sincere. "You should be very proud." Lily did not smile. She looked at Marcus on the stretcher, his face still gray, his chest rising and falling with the help of the oxygen. She did not feel proud. She felt scared. She did not want him to die like her grandfather had. Rachel stood and turned back to Jackson. "One person can ride with us. We leave in 30 seconds. Jackson did not hesitate. "I'm coming." He followed Rachel and her partner out the door. The stretcher rolled across the pavement toward the ambulance. The back doors were already open. They lifted Marcus inside. Jackson climbed in after him and sat on the bench beside the stretcher. The doors slammed shut. The engine roared. Sirens wailed. Red and white lights flashed across the parking lot as the ambulance pulled onto the highway and disappeared. The remaining bikers stood in silence, watching until the lights were gone. The sirens faded into the empty Montana landscape. Cole, a younger biker with a beard and a vest covered in patches, turned to May and Lily. His voice was rough. "Thank you, both of you." The others murmured agreement. Some nodded, some wiped their eyes. They were tough men, but not ashamed of emotion. May kept her arm around Lily. "She learned to pay attention the hard way. We lost her grandfather to a heart attack 2 years ago." The bikers fell quiet. Understanding settled over them. This child carried a wound, and today she used it to save someone. Cole stepped closer. "Can we get your contact information? We want to update you on Marcus." May pulled a small notepad from her apron pocket, wrote down her number, and handed it to Cole. He folded it and tucked it into his jacket. The bikers began talking among themselves. Some wanted to ride to Billings immediately. Others thought they should wait for news. The debate was quiet but intense. May's phone rang. Everyone stopped. May checked the screen. "Unknown number," she answered. "Hello? This is Rachel, the paramedic. Is this May?" "Yes." "Marcus is stable for now, but he's asking for someone. He keeps saying something about a little girl, the one who saw it. He wants to see her. Can you and Lily come to the hospital?" May agreed immediately. "We'll come. Tell me where." Rachel gave the hospital name and address. Billings Medical Center. Emergency entrance. Ask for me. "We'll be there soon." May ended the call and looked at Lily. "Marcus wants to see you. He wants to thank you." Lily's stomach tightened. She didn't like hospitals. The smell, the lights, the sounds. They reminded her of the day her grandfather died, but she felt something pulling at her. She had started this. She couldn't walk away. Cole stepped closer. "I can take you. Both of you. On my bike. It'll be faster." May hesitated. She had never been on a motorcycle. The machine looked dangerous. Cole saw her hesitation. His voice stayed calm. "I've been riding 20 years. I'll keep you safe. And we'll all ride together. The crew will escort you." May looked at Lily. Lily nodded. May took a breath. "Okay, let's go." She called the gas station manager and explained. Her replacement arrived within 10 minutes. May grabbed her jacket and Lily's backpack, locked the register, and handed over the keys. Cole brought his bike to the front. A large touring motorcycle with a wide passenger seat and metal handles. He helped May climb on, showing her where to put her feet and what to hold. Then he lifted Lily and placed her in front of May. He handed them helmets. May's hands shook as she fastened the strap. Lily's helmet was too big, but Cole adjusted it until it fit. "Hold on tight," Cole said. "Don't lean into turns. Stay relaxed and move with the bike." May wrapped her arms around Lily. The other bikers mounted their motorcycles. They formed a tight formation around Cole. 2 riders in front, 2 on each side, the rest behind. Engines rumbled into a deep synchronized roar. They pulled onto the highway. The sun sank behind the mountains, coloring the sky orange and purple. The air was cold, but the warmth from the engine and May's arms kept Lily from shivering. Lily had never felt anything like this. The speed, the sound, the wind on her face. She felt small but protected. The bikers moved like a single unit. May's heart pounded. She had lived her life being careful and avoiding risks. Now she was racing down a highway on a motorcycle, surrounded by strangers in leather jackets, heading toward a hospital to see a man her granddaughter had saved. It didn't feel real. Cole glanced back. He saw the tension in May's shoulders, but also her determination. She was scared, but she wasn't backing down. The bikers communicated through hand signals and brief radio calls. They planned their arrival. They knew how they were perceived. A large group of bikers at a hospital could cause alarm. They would keep a low profile. The highway stretched ahead, dark and empty. Stars appeared overhead. Lily looked up and thought about Marcus. Was he still alive? Had she done enough? The lights of Billings appeared in the distance. The convoy stayed tight. No one spoke. Cole's radio crackled. Jackson's voice came through. "Cole, you copy?" Cole pressed a button. "Yeah, we're about 10 minutes out." Static. Then Jackson spoke again, heavy. "Marcus is in surgery. They're working on him now. Doctors said it's bad. They're not sure he'll make it through the night." The words hung in the air. Cole didn't respond. He just kept riding, jaw tight. May heard the transmission through her helmet. Lily stiffened in her arms. May pulled her closer. Lily stared ahead. The city lights grew brighter. The hospital was close, but Marcus might already be gone. She thought about her grandfather, the morning he collapsed, how May screamed and cried and blamed herself for not seeing the signs sooner. Lily had seen the signs this time. She had spoken up. But maybe it wasn't enough. Maybe some things couldn't be stopped. The convoy slowed entering the city. The hospital loomed ahead. The bikers pulled into the parking lot. Cole shut off his engine. Silence fell. He helped May and Lily off. May's legs were shaky. She held Lily's hand. The bikers dismounted. Their faces were grim. No one spoke. Jackson appeared at the emergency entrance, pale, eyes red. He walked toward them slowly. Everyone knew before he spoke. He stopped in front of May and Lily. He looked down at Lily, then at May. His voice was rough. "He's in surgery. They're working on him." May tightened her hold on Lily. "What did they say?" Jackson rubbed his face. "It's bad, major blockage. They're trying to open the arteries. It's risky. They don't know if he'll make it through the night." The group fell silent under the hospital lights. Cole asked, "How long?" "Almost an hour." "No updates yet?" Jackson shook his head. "They'll come out when they know something." May looked at Lily. Her face was pale, eyes wide. May knelt and pulled her close. "We're going to wait with them." "Okay?" Lily nodded. Jackson gestured to the entrance. "Waiting rooms upstairs." They walked through the bright lobby. The smell of antiseptic filled the air. Lily tightened her grip. She hated this place. They took the elevator to the 3rd floor. The surgical waiting area was quiet. A few people sat in scattered chairs. The bikers filed in slowly, removing helmets and jackets. They took seats along the back wall. May and Lily sat in the corner. Lily leaned against May. May wrapped her arm around her, stroking her hair. "He's going to be okay. The doctors know what they're doing. He's strong." Lily didn't respond. She stared at the double doors to the surgical rooms. A nurse approached Jackson, middle-aged, kind eyes. "Are you family?" "Not by blood," Jackson said. "But yeah, we're his family." She looked at the bikers. Her expression was neutral, but not unkind. "I can only give updates to immediate family." Jackson nodded toward May and Lily. "The little girl is the one who saved his life. Marcus asked for her, before surgery." The nurse softened. She looked at Lily, then back at Jackson. "I'll make sure she can see him once he's stable, even if it's after visiting hours." "Thank you." The nurse walked away. Jackson sat heavily, elbows on his knees. The hours crawled by. Midnight came and went. Some bikers dozed. Others paced or stepped outside. The television played silently in the corner. May bought coffee from a vending machine and sat beside Jackson. She handed him a cup. He took it without looking up. "Tell me about him," May said quietly. Jackson wrapped his hands around the cup. The warmth felt good. "Marcus served as a combat medic for 20 years. Army, Iraq, and Afghanistan. He saw things that broke him, saved lives that haunted him, lost friends he couldn't forget." May listened without interrupting. "When he came home, he struggled, drank too much, pushed everyone away. The club found him at his lowest point, gave him a reason to keep going." Jackson paused, his jaw tight. "He became our leader because people trusted him. He didn't want the title, but he earned it." May looked across the room at Lily, who had fallen asleep against the armrest. "Losing him would hurt." Jackson nodded. "It would break us." They sat in silence after that. The coffee grew cold. The clock on the wall ticked forward. 2 in the morning came. Then the double doors opened. A surgeon stepped out. He wore blue scrubs and a surgical cap. His mask hung around his neck. He looked tired, but calm. The entire waiting room stood up. Jackson moved forward, first. The other bikers gathered behind him. The surgeon looked at the group. "Are you here for Marcus Webb?" "Yes," Jackson said. His voice was steady, but his hands were clenched into fists. The surgeon's expression was unreadable. "The surgery was successful. We cleared the blockages and restored blood flow to his heart. He's stable." The relief was immediate. Some of the bikers embraced. Others sat down heavily, their heads in their hands. Jackson closed his eyes and exhaled slowly, a prayer of gratitude. The surgeon continued. "He's going to need time to recover, but he's expected to survive." Jackson's voice cracked. "Can we see him?" "Not yet. He's in recovery, but he's awake, and he's asking for someone." The surgeon looked at May and Lily. "He's asking for the little girl." May woke Lily gently. Lily sat up, blinking, confused. May helped her stand. "Marcus wants to see you." Lily's heart pounded. She looked at the surgeon, then at her grandmother. The surgeon gestured toward the double doors. "Follow me." May took Lily's hand, and they walked through the doors together. The hallway was long and bright. The floors were polished. The walls were white. Everything smelled like medicine and bleach. They stopped outside a recovery room. The surgeon faced them. His voice was gentle. "He's weak and emotional. Just prepare yourselves." May nodded. Lily said nothing. She stared at the door. The surgeon pushed the door open. The room was small and dim. Machines beeped softly. Monitors displayed numbers and graphs in green and blue. Marcus lay in the bed, pale and still. Tubes ran from his arms. Wires connected to his chest. An oxygen line rested under his nose. His eyes were open. When he saw Lily, they filled with tears. May and Lily stepped inside. Lily stopped just past the doorway. She didn't know what to say or do. May placed a hand on her shoulder and guided her forward. Marcus tried to speak. His voice was weak and hoarse. "Thank you." Lily looked at him. His face was gray. His hair was damp with sweat, but his eyes were clear. "You saved my life," Marcus said. Each word took effort. "I didn't even know I was in danger. I would have gotten back on my bike. I would have ridden away, and I would have died on the side of the highway." Lily's throat tightened. She didn't respond. She just stood there. Marcus's tears spilled over. "How did you know?" Lily's voice was quiet but steady. "My grandfather died the same way. I saw the signs. I didn't want it to happen again." Marcus closed his eyes. When he opened them, he reached out his hand. It trembled, but stayed lifted toward her. Lily looked at his hand, then at May. May nodded. Lily took his hand carefully. His grip was soft but real. "You're the bravest person I've ever met," Marcus said. "You did what trained adults failed to do. You paid attention when no one else did." Lily didn't respond. She just held his hand. May stood behind her, eyes wet. She had never been more proud or more heartbroken. Lily should not have to recognize death before it arrived. But she did, and she used it to save someone. Marcus looked at May. "Thank you for raising her. I owe my life to both of you." May shook her head. Lily made the choice on her own. "All I did was teach her to care about people." A nurse stepped in. Her voice was soft. "He needs to rest now." May nodded. She touched Lily's shoulder. "We'll visit again soon. You focus on getting better." Lily let go of Marcus's hand. She stepped back. May guided her to the door. Marcus spoke again, stronger. "Lily," she turned. "I'll never forget you," he said. "I'll spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of the second chance you gave me." Lily looked at him. Her eyes softened. "Just pay attention to other people the way I paid attention to you." Marcus nodded, a promise made. Lily and May left the room. The door closed softly. In the hallway, May pulled Lily into a tight embrace. "I love you. I'm so proud of you. Everything is going to be okay." Lily wrapped her arms around her grandmother and held on. They walked back to the waiting area. The bikers stood when they entered. Jackson stepped forward. "How is he?" May's voice was steady. "He's weak, but grateful. And he's going to recover." The bikers exhaled. Relief turned into quiet joy. Some clapped each other on the back. Others sat down, their shoulders sagging. Cole approached Lily. He crouched to her level. "The club wants to do something for you, to thank you. Once Marcus is out of the hospital, we're planning a gathering. We'd like you and your grandmother to come." May looked at Lily. Lily nodded. Cole smiled. "Good. We'll be in touch." May thanked him. She took Lily's hand, and they headed toward the elevator. The bikers called out their goodbyes. Their voices were warm and grateful. Jackson followed them into the hallway. "Can I talk to you for a second?" May stopped. Lily stayed close. Jackson's face was serious. Marcus ignored symptoms for weeks. He told me tonight. Said he felt tired, had chest pain, but didn't want to slow down the ride. He didn't want to worry anyone. May's expression darkened. "He almost died because of it." Jackson nodded. "Yeah, and now we're all asking ourselves what else we might be missing. About each other, about ourselves." He looked at Lily, then back at May. "If a 7-year-old can see what we couldn't, what does that say about us?" May didn't answer. She squeezed Lily's hand. Jackson stepped back. "Thank you again, for everything," May nodded. She and Lily entered the elevator, the doors closed, but the weight of Jackson's words stayed. Over the next few days, while Marcus recovered, the motorcycle club gathered at their clubhouse in Billings. The space was modest, a converted warehouse with a garage on one side and a meeting room on the other. The walls were covered with photos of past rides, charity events, and members who had passed away. Jackson called a meeting. Every member attended. The mood was heavy. No one joked. No one laughed. They sat in folding chairs arranged in a circle. Jackson stood at the front. His voice was steady. "We failed, Marcus." The words landed like stones. Some members looked down. Others shifted. "We rode beside him every day. We ate with him. We talked with him. And none of us noticed he was sick." He paused. "We pride ourselves on being a brotherhood, on watching each other's backs. But a 7-year-old child saw what we missed." Shame filled the room. No one argued. Jackson's voice grew firmer. "This cannot happen again. We need to be more aware, more attentive, more willing to ask hard questions. We need to check on each other, not just in obvious crisis, but in the quiet moments when someone might be struggling. Rita, an older woman with gray hair and a vest covered in patches, raised her hand. She had been with the club 15 years. Her voice was calm. We need regular health check-ins, annual doctor visits, mandatory. Members nodded. Rita continued. And we need a culture where asking for help isn't seen as weakness, where saying you're not okay doesn't make you less of a brother or sister. The room murmured agreement. The conversation shifted from guilt to action. They discussed logistics, who would coordinate the health checks, how they would follow up, what to do if someone refused. Cole spoke up. We also need to talk about Lily. The room quieted. Cole looked around. We want to honor her, thank her, make sure she knows what she did mattered. But she's a kid. She's been through too much. We can't overwhelm her or turn her into a symbol. Jackson nodded. What are you thinking? A small gathering, here at the clubhouse, once Marcus is discharged. Invite Lily and May, cook a meal, spend time together. No cameras, no spectacle, just gratitude. The club voted. Every hand went up. In the days that followed, the bikers visited Marcus in the hospital in small groups. They brought books and magazines. They joked about hospital food. They sat with him and talked, but they also brought honesty. They apologized for not noticing. They told him the club was changing. They promised they would never let him or anyone else slip through the cracks again. Marcus listened, eyes wet. I'm guilty too. I ignored my symptoms because I didn't want to slow the group down. I didn't want to be a burden. Jackson shook his head. You're never a burden. Marcus looked at him. I almost died because I didn't want to admit I was struggling. We know, and we're all learning from it. The conversations were difficult but necessary. The club was learning that strength was not just toughness or endurance. It was vulnerability, admitting when something was wrong, trusting others to help. Back in Bridger Falls, Lily returned to school. Her teachers had heard about what happened, so had her classmates. Some of them looked at her differently now, with awe, with confusion, with questions they did not know how to ask. Lily did not like the attention. She just wanted to go back to being invisible. She sat at her desk and did her work and tried to ignore the whispers, but May noticed a change in her granddaughter. Lily was quieter than usual, more withdrawn. At night she had trouble sleeping. May would find her sitting up in bed, staring at the wall. May sat with her. She talked gently. She tried to help her process the weight of what she had experienced. You did the right thing. You saved a life. That's something to be proud of. Lily's voice was small. What if I hadn't noticed? But you did. What if I was wrong? May pulled her close. You weren't. And even if you had been, it's always better to speak up than to stay silent. Lily did not respond. She just leaned against her grandmother and closed her eyes. May also received phone calls from the bikers. They checked in regularly. They asked how Lily was doing. They coordinated plans for the gathering. May was touched by their kindness. She had spent her whole life being wary of people who looked different, people who seemed rough or dangerous. The bikers had challenged every assumption she held. On the day before Marcus was scheduled to be discharged, May's phone rang. She answered without looking at the number. Hello? Is this May Chen? Yes. This is Linda Hartman. I'm a social worker at Billings Medical Center. I'm calling about your granddaughter, Lily. May's stomach tightened. Is something wrong? No, nothing like that. But I need to inform you that a local news station has learned about Lily's actions. They want to interview her. They're calling it a human interest story, a child who saved a biker's life. May's grip on the phone tightened. How did they find out? I'm not sure, but they've contacted the hospital, and they have your contact information. May closed her eyes. What do I do? That's up to you. You have the right to refuse. You have the right to protect Lily's privacy, but I wanted you to know before they reach out directly. May thanked her and ended the call. She stood in the kitchen, staring at the phone in her hand. Lily was in the living room, doing homework. She had no idea what was coming. May had to decide, protect her granddaughter's privacy or allow her story to be shared with the world. May had to decide, protect her granddaughter's privacy or allow her story to be shared with the world. She sat at the kitchen table, staring at the phone in her hand. The social worker's words echoed in her mind. A journalist wanted to interview Lily. The story was spreading. People at the gas station had posted about it on social media. Small-town gossip had turned into something bigger. May knew what Lily would want: privacy, silence, a return to normal life. But May also knew that Lily's actions could save other lives. If people learned from her example, if they paid attention the way she had. May picked up the phone and called Jackson. He answered on the second ring. "May, everything okay? I need to talk to you about something." May explained the situation. The journalist, the interview request, the choice she had to make. Jackson's voice turned protective. "What do you want to do?" "I don't know yet. I need to talk to Lily first." "Whatever you decide, we'll support you. If you want privacy, we'll help shield you. If you want to share the story, we'll stand beside you." May felt her throat tighten. "Thank you. Lily's the one who gets to decide. Not the news, not us, her." May agreed and ended the call. She sat for a moment longer, gathering her thoughts. Then she walked into the living room where Lily was doing homework on the floor, her textbook spread open in front of her. "Lily, can we talk?" Lily looked up. She saw the seriousness in her grandmother's face and closed her book. "Okay." May sat down on the couch. Lily climbed up beside her. May took her hand. "People want to know your story. A news station wants to interview you. They think you're a hero." Lily's face went still. "I don't want to be on TV." "I know, and you don't have to be. It's your choice. But I need to tell you something." May paused, choosing her words carefully. "If you share what you did, other kids might learn to notice when someone is sick. Other people might pay attention the way you did. It could help." Lily was quiet for a long time. She looked down at her hands. Then she asked softly, "Will it help other kids?" "It might." Lily nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll do it, but only if you're with me. And I don't want to talk about Grandpa." May pulled her close. "I'll be with you the whole time, and you don't have to talk about anything you don't want to." May called the social worker back. She set clear conditions. The interview would be brief at a neutral location. Lily would not answer questions about her personal loss. The journalist agreed. The interview was scheduled for the following week. May wanted Lily to have time to see Marcus healthy, time to attend the gathering at the clubhouse, time to process everything before facing cameras. 2 days later, Marcus was released from the hospital. The bikers picked him up in a van, not on motorcycles. The doctor had been clear, no strenuous activity for weeks. Marcus was weak but smiling. He wore a hospital bracelet and carried a folder of discharge instructions. He climbed into the van slowly, one hand on the door frame for support. Jackson helped him settle into the seat. "How you feeling?" Marcus laughed softly. "Like I've been hit by a truck, but I'm alive. That's what matters." The club arranged a recovery house for him, a small cabin outside Billings, quiet and private. Several members volunteered to stay with him in shifts. They would make sure he took his medications, ate properly, and did not do too much too soon. Marcus was moved by their care. He looked at the faces around him and realized something. His near-death experience had changed him and the club. They were more attentive now, more open, more willing to talk about health and vulnerability. Lily's action had created a ripple effect. It was healing them all. The day of the gathering arrived. May and Lily drove to the clubhouse. Lily wore her purple jacket. May wore her best blouse. They were nervous, but ready. When they pulled into the parking lot, May's breath caught. The lot was full, not just with the local club's motorcycles, but with bikes from other states. Dozens of them. Lily looked out the window. "Why are there so many?" May didn't have an answer. She parked, and they got out. The clubhouse door opened, and Cole stepped outside. He smiled and walked toward them. "We didn't expect this many people," May said. Cole nodded. Word spread. Bikers from 3 neighboring states wanted to come. They wanted to meet the kid who saved one of our own. Lily's eyes went wide. May squeezed her hand. "It's okay. We'll do this together." They walked toward the clubhouse. The door opened wider. Inside, the room was filled with people. Bikers in leather vests, men and women of all ages. They stood when Lily entered. Then they began to clap. The sound filled the room. Not loud or overwhelming. Steady, respectful, grateful. Lily froze. May placed a hand on her shoulder and guided her forward. Marcus was sitting near the back, still too weak to stand long. When he saw Lily, he smiled. Lily realized this was not about being a hero. It was about people recognizing that one small act of courage could change everything. The applause faded. The bikers settled into their seats. The room felt warm. Cole guided May and Lily toward the center. Tables lined the walls covered with food. Burgers, salads, pies, no alcohol. The club chose a family-friendly atmosphere. Children ran around, playing and laughing. Music played softly. Marcus sat near the back wall. He looked better than in the hospital. His color was returning. His breathing was steady. But he was still weak. When he saw Lily, his face lit up. He stood slowly, using the armrest for support, and walked toward her. May stayed close, protective, but did not interfere. Marcus crouched to Lily's height. "I've been waiting to see you again." Lily looked at him, unsure what to say. Marcus reached into his jacket and pulled out a small leather patch, a guardian angel with motorcycle wings stitched in silver thread. "The club made this for you," he said. "It represents protection, awareness, and courage. You're an honorary guardian of our brotherhood now. You'll always be welcome among us. We'll always have your back." Lily took the patch carefully. She stared at it, then looked at Marcus. "I'm glad you're okay." Marcus's eyes filled with tears. He nodded, unable to speak, then whispered, "Thank you." The gathering continued. Bikers approached May and Lily in small groups, introducing themselves, sharing stories. They talked about charity work, community service, the families they supported. May learned the club raised thousands for children's hospitals. They organized toy drives every Christmas and escorted abuse survivors to court hearings. May's perception shifted. She had judged them by appearance, the leather, the patches, the loud bikes. She assumed danger, but now she saw the truth. These were people judged unfairly who chose to use their strength to protect others. Rita sat beside May. Her gray hair was in a ponytail. Her vest was covered in patches. "You raised a good kid," May smiled. "She raised herself, mostly. I just tried to keep up." Rita laughed softly. "I was a nurse for 30 years. Retired 5 years ago. Joined the club to keep helping people, just in a different way." "People don't expect that," May said. "No, they don't. They see the leather and make assumptions. But we change those stereotypes through action, not words." May nodded. She understood now. As evening approached, Jackson stood and raised his hand. The room quieted. He looked at May and Lily. "Thank you both for coming, for trusting us, for being here." The room murmured agreement. "Lily represents the best of what we aspire to be," Jackson said. "Someone who sees a person in need and acts, without hesitation, without concern for recognition." He paused, then smiled. "The club is launching a new initiative. We're going to teach heart attack awareness at local schools and community centers. We'll partner with medical professionals. We'll create simple lessons even young children can understand. We're calling it Lily's Lesson." The room erupted in applause. Lily looked down at the patch in her hands. She didn't fully understand the impact she had made, but she felt the love and respect in the room. It was overwhelming. The gathering began to wind down. Bikers said their goodbyes. Others stayed to clean up. May and Lily stood near the door, preparing to leave. Marcus approached. He looked at May. "Can I talk to you?" May nodded. Lily stayed close. "I have one more request," Marcus said. "I want to come to Lily's school and talk to her classmates about paying attention, about helping others, about recognizing when something is wrong." He paused. "But I need your permission." May looked at Lily. "What do you think?" Lily was quiet, then nodded. "Okay," Marcus smiled. "Thank you." May shook his hand. "We'll make it happen." They walked to the car. The sun was setting. The motorcycles gleamed. May and Lily climbed in. As they pulled away, Lily looked back at the clubhouse and saw Marcus waving. She waved back, and for the first time since the gas station, she felt like everything was going to be okay. May thought about Marcus's request for 3 days. She watched Lily closely. She saw how her granddaughter was still processing everything. May didn't want to push her, but she knew sharing the story might help other children. She sat with Lily one evening after dinner. "Marcus wants to come to your school," she said. "He wants to talk to your class about paying attention, about helping people, but only if you're okay with it." Lily looked down. "Will everyone stare at me?" "Maybe, but Marcus will be the one talking. You can just sit and listen." Lily thought, then nodded. "Okay." May called the school principal the next morning. Mrs. Dawson was enthusiastic. She'd already heard about Lily's actions. She thought it would be valuable for the students to hear from Marcus. They scheduled the visit for 2 weeks later. The day arrived. Marcus pulled into the school parking lot in a borrowed truck. He was still recovering. His movements were slow and careful, but he was determined. He wore a simple button-down shirt and jeans. No club patches, no leather. He wanted the children to see him as a person, not a stereotype. Lily's class gathered in the school library. 25 second graders sat on the carpet, their faces curious and excited. Lily sat in the back with May, who had taken time off work to be there. May's hand rested on Lily's shoulder. Marcus stood at the front of the room. He leaned slightly on a chair for support. His voice was calm and steady. "My name is Marcus. I ride motorcycles. And I'm alive because of Lily." The children turned to look at Lily. She looked down at her lap. May squeezed her shoulder gently. Marcus continued. "I want to tell you a story. A few weeks ago, my heart got sick, but I didn't know it. I felt tired, my arm hurt, my chest felt tight, but I thought it was normal. I thought I was just getting old." Some of the children giggled. Marcus smiled. "I didn't pay attention to what my body was telling me, and that was a mistake." He gestured toward Lily. But Lily paid attention. She watched me. She saw the signs. She knew something was wrong. And even though she was scared, she spoke up. She told people I needed help. And because of her, I'm standing here today. The room was silent. The children stared at Marcus with wide eyes. Marcus taught them the basic signs of a heart attack: chest pain, arm pain, shortness of breath, sweating, feeling dizzy. He used simple words. He asked the children to repeat the signs back to him. Their young voices echoed through the library. "You are never too young to help someone," Marcus said. "If you see an adult who looks sick or in pain, tell another adult immediately. Don't wait. Don't assume someone else will notice. You notice. You speak up. That's how you save lives." A boy in the front row raised his hand. "Were you scared when you were sick?" Marcus nodded. "I was terrified. But Lily stayed calm, and that helped. Me stay strong." A girl raised her hand next. "Is Lily a hero?" Marcus looked back at Lily. His expression was soft. "Yes, Lily is a hero, but not because she did something impossible. She's a hero because she did something simple that most people forget to do. She paid attention." The children turned to look at Lily again. This time she lifted her head. She met their eyes, and she did not look away. After the presentation, Mrs. Dawson thanked Marcus. "We're going to incorporate heart health awareness into our health curriculum, and several parents have already reached out. They want to learn more about recognizing medical emergencies." Marcus was moved. He realized that Lily's action had created a wave of awareness. It extended far beyond one life saved. It was changing how an entire community thought about health, attention, and responsibility. As Marcus prepared to leave, Lily approached him. She held a piece of paper in her hands. She had drawn a picture: a man standing next to a motorcycle, a little girl beside him, a heart in the sky above them. Marcus took the drawing carefully. His hands trembled. "This is beautiful." "You can keep it," Lily said quietly. Marcus's eyes filled with tears. "I'll keep it forever." May and Lily walked out to the parking lot with him. Marcus climbed into the truck slowly. He waved as he drove away. May and Lily stood together watching until the truck disappeared down the road. That evening, May's phone rang. She answered without checking the caller ID. "Hello? Mrs. Chen, this is Rebecca Morris. I'm the journalist scheduled to interview Lily tomorrow." May's stomach tightened. "Yes, we're still planning on that. I wanted to give you a heads up. The story has been picked up by a national news outlet. They're planning to run it tomorrow evening. It's going to reach a much wider audience than we originally anticipated. May's breath caught. How much wider? National broadcast. Potentially millions of viewers. May closed her eyes. She had agreed to a local interview. A small story. Something contained. But this was different. This was Lily's privacy disappearing in ways May had not anticipated. "Mrs. Chen, are you still there?" May opened her eyes. She looked across the room at Lily, who was sitting on the couch reading a book, unaware, innocent. "Yes, I'm here. We can still proceed with the interview as planned, but I wanted you to know what's coming." May thanked her and ended the call. She stood in the kitchen, her phone still in her hand. She had made a choice. She had agreed to let Lily's story be told, but now that choice was spiraling beyond her control, and she did not know how to protect her granddaughter from what was coming next. May felt panic rise in her chest. She had agreed to a local interview, something small, something contained, but national coverage was different. It was beyond her control. She grabbed her phone and called Jackson. He answered immediately. "May, what's wrong?" "The interview tomorrow. It's going national. Millions of people are going to see it." Her voice shook. "I didn't agree to this." Jackson's tone turned serious. "We'll handle it. The club will release a statement. We'll ask media outlets to respect Lily's privacy. We'll make it clear she's a minor who deserves protection." May exhaled slowly. "Thank you. We've got your back. Both of you." The next day, the interview took place as planned. The journalist, Sarah, was kind and professional. She kept her word. She asked Lily simple questions. She allowed May to sit beside her granddaughter. She did not push for details about Lily's grandfather. The interview lasted 15 minutes. Lily spoke clearly and calmly. She explained that she noticed Marcus looked sick. She remembered the signs from when her grandfather was ill. She told an adult and called for help. She did not describe herself as a hero. She simply said she did what she thought was right. The interview aired that evening on the local news. May and Lily watched it together on the couch. May held Lily close. The segment was respectful, brief. It focused on the importance of recognizing heart attack symptoms. May felt relieved, but within hours the story spread. National news websites ran headlines about the 7-year-old girl who saved a biker's life. Social media exploded. Shares, comments, praise. Some posts were kind and supportive. Others were invasive. People speculated about Lily's family, her past, her life. May felt overwhelmed. She had not anticipated this level of attention. She worried about Lily's safety, her privacy, her ability to return to a normal life. Jackson and the club acted quickly. They issued a public statement through their website and social media channels. The statement thanked the public for their support, but it firmly requested that Lily's privacy be respected. It emphasized that Lily was a child, that her family did not seek fame, that continued media attention could cause harm. The statement also redirected attention to the larger message: the importance of heart health, awareness, the value of teaching children to recognize medical emergencies, the need to break stereotypes about motorcycle clubs and the communities they serve. The club's statement was shared widely. Many people responded positively. They agreed that Lily deserved to be left alone. Some media outlets backed off. Others continued to pursue the story, but with less intensity. May was grateful for the club's intervention. She realized that these bikers, who society often viewed as outsiders or troublemakers, were protecting her family more effectively than any institution could. Over the following weeks, the media attention faded. Lily returned to school. Life began to feel normal again. The whispers in the hallways stopped. The stares disappeared. Lily went back to being just another second grader, but the impact of her actions continued to ripple outward. The motorcycle club's initiative, Lily's Lesson, gained traction. They partnered with local hospitals and schools across Montana and neighboring states. They taught thousands of children and adults how to recognize heart attack symptoms. They distributed free educational materials. They organized community health fairs. Marcus became one of the primary speakers. He shared his story at schools, community centers, and club events. He was open about his mistakes, his denial, his near-death experience. He credited Lily with not only saving his life, but also inspiring a movement. May received letters and messages, parents, teachers, medical professionals. They thanked her for raising such a compassionate and aware child. They shared their own stories of noticing symptoms in loved ones because of Lily's example, stories of lives saved because someone paid attention. Lily did not fully grasp the scale of what she had started, and May was grateful for that. She wanted her granddaughter to remain grounded, to understand that she had done something important, but that she was still just a child who deserved a normal life. 6 months passed. Autumn turned to winter. Snow covered the Montana landscape. Life in Bridger Falls moved at its usual quiet pace. May worked her shifts at the gas station. Lily went to school. They visited Marcus and the club occasionally, but mostly they lived their lives. One afternoon, May came home from work and found a package on the front porch. It was addressed to her. The return address was from a hospital in Seattle. May carried it inside and set it on the kitchen table. She opened it carefully. Inside was a letter, handwritten. The paper was thick and expensive. May unfolded it and began to read. The letter was from a mother named Jennifer. She lived in Seattle with her 2 children. 6 months ago, her 15-year-old son had complained of chest pain and dizziness. Her 12-year-old daughter had heard about Lily's story at school. She recognized the symptoms. She insisted her mother take her brother to the hospital immediately. The doctors found a congenital heart defect. They performed emergency surgery. The boy survived. The doctor said that if they had waited even a few more hours, he would have died. Jennifer's letter was filled with gratitude. She thanked May for raising Lily. She thanked Lily for speaking up that day at the gas station. She said that Lily's courage had saved not just Marcus's life, but her son's life as well. May read the letter twice. Then she sat down at the table and cried, not from sadness, from overwhelming emotion, from the realization that one small act of courage had created a chain reaction that reached across states and saved lives May would never meet. She folded the letter carefully and placed it back in the envelope. She would show it to Lily later, but for now she just sat in the quiet kitchen and let the weight of it settle over her. And she understood something she had not fully grasped before. Lily had not just saved Marcus. She had taught an entire community how to see each other, how to pay attention, how to care, and she understood something she had not fully grasped before. Lily had not just saved Marcus. She had taught an entire community how to see each other, how to pay attention, how to care. May read the letter aloud to Lily that evening. They sat together on the couch. Lily leaned against her grandmother's side. May's voice was steady but emotional. The mother's name was Jennifer. She lived in Seattle with her 2 children. Her 15-year-old son was a high school athlete. 6 months ago, he collapsed during basketball practice. His chest hurt. He could not breathe. He felt dizzy and weak. His 12-year-old sister had learned about heart attack symptoms through the Lily's lesson program at her school. She recognized what was happening immediately. She screamed for the coach to call an ambulance. She did not hesitate. She did not wait for someone else to act. The boy survived. Doctors found an undiagnosed heart condition. They performed emergency surgery. The doctor said that if treatment had been delayed even a few minutes, he would have died. Jennifer's letter was filled with gratitude. She wrote that her family owed their son's life to Lily, to her courage, to the awareness campaign she inspired. May finished reading and looked at Lily. Lily was quiet. She stared at the letter in her grandmother's hands. She did not fully understand the weight of what she was hearing, but she felt something shift inside her. Her action was not just about one person. It was about many people, across many places, who were now safer because she chose to speak up. May folded the letter and placed it in a wooden box with other letters and cards they had received. There were dozens now from all over the country. Each one told a similar story. Someone noticed symptoms. Someone acted quickly. Someone survived because of awareness that began with a 7-year-old girl at a gas station in Montana. May also kept newspaper clippings and printed articles about the Motorcycle Club's initiative. The club expanded their work beyond heart health. They taught children about recognizing signs of domestic abuse, human trafficking, and other dangers. They partnered with law enforcement and social services. They became a model for how community organizations could create real, measurable change. Marcus visited May and Lily regularly. He became a fixture in their lives, a kind of honorary uncle. He brought Lily books. He helped May with repairs. He joined them for Sunday dinners. His health stabilized. He followed his medication regimen. He exercised. He attended checkups. He was living proof that second chances mattered. One afternoon, Marcus asked May if he could take Lily for a short ride on his motorcycle. May hesitated. She had grown more comfortable with the bikers, but the idea still frightened her. Marcus respected her fear. I want Lily to experience the freedom and joy motorcycles represent to me, but only with your permission, and under the safest conditions. May thought about it for several days. She talked to Lily, who was excited but nervous. Finally, May agreed with conditions. The ride would be short, on quiet roads, at low speed. May would follow in her car. The day of the ride arrived. Marcus brought a fitted child's helmet and safety gear. He helped Lily onto the bike. He showed her where to hold on, how to lean with the turns, how to stay safe. May watched from the driveway, her heart in her throat. They rode slowly through the countryside. May followed behind, Lily's arms wrapped around Marcus's waist. She felt the rumble of the engine, the wind against her jacket. She was scared at first, then relaxed. She felt safe. She trusted Marcus. When they returned, Lily was grinning. It was the first time May had seen her smile so widely in months. May realized this moment mattered. Lily was reclaiming joy. Marcus helped Lily down and looked at May. Thank you for trusting me. May nodded. Thank you for being part of her life. Marcus smiled. Lily is one of the bravest people I've known. It's an honor. That evening, as May tucked Lily into bed, Lily asked, Does saving someone's life mean you're connected to them forever? May sat on the edge of the bed and smoothed her hair. Yes, in a way. When you save someone, you become part of their story and they become part of yours. But that connection is a gift, not a burden. Lily nodded and closed her eyes. Her hand clutched the guardian angel patch Marcus had given her. She fell asleep quickly. May turned off the light and stood in the doorway watching her sleep. She felt a deep sense of peace. The following week, May received a phone call from Jackson. His voice was excited. The governor of Montana is giving the club a formal commendation for our community health education work. May smiled. That's wonderful. There's more. They want to recognize Lily publicly for inspiring the initiative. There's going to be a ceremony at the state capitol. We want you and Lily to come. May's smile faded. A public ceremony? I know it's a lot, but this is important, not just for the club, for everyone who's been helped by what Lily started. May closed her eyes. She thought about the letters in the box, the lives saved, the awareness created. Let me talk to Lily, May said. Of course. No pressure. May hung up and stood in the kitchen, staring out the window. The sun was setting over the Montana landscape. She thought about the mother in Seattle, the boy who survived, the countless others alive because someone paid attention. And she knew what her answer would be. The ceremony took place at the state capitol in Helena. May and Lily arrived on a clear morning. They wore their best clothes. Lily's dress was simple and purple. May's blouse was neat. Lily held her grandmother's hand as they walked up the marble steps. Inside, the hall was filled with people. Rows of chairs faced a stage, draped with the state flag. The motorcycle club members gathered near the front, wearing formal attire mixed with their patches. Marcus stood at the front, representing the club. He looked healthy now. He had prepared a speech. Governor Reeves, a woman in her 50s, with gray hair and a calm presence, took the podium. She spoke about community organizations, the power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, and praised the club for challenging stereotypes and protecting vulnerable populations. Then she called Marcus to the stage. Marcus walked up slowly. He accepted the commendation and thanked the governor, community partners, and medical professionals. Then he paused. He looked at Lily in the third row and spoke directly to her. A few months ago, I was dying and didn't know it. My heart was failing. My body was shutting down. I ignored the signs because I didn't want to slow anyone down or be a burden. Marcus's voice was steady but emotional. A 7-year-old girl saw what I couldn't. She noticed what adults missed. She spoke up when it would have been easier to stay silent. He paused. The room was silent. Lily didn't save my life because she was special. She saved it because she chose to notice, to care, to act. Marcus looked around the room. Everyone here has that same power. The question is whether you'll use it. The audience applauded. The sound filled the hall. Governor Reeves stepped forward and called Lily to the stage. May stood with her granddaughter. They walked forward. Lily climbed the steps. She looked composed. Governor Reeves knelt to Lily's level. Thank you for your courage. You are an example to everyone about awareness and compassion. She presented Lily with a certificate. Lily accepted it quietly. She didn't smile for the cameras. She simply nodded. After the ceremony, the club hosted a reception. May and Lily were surrounded by well-wishers, but the bikers kept a protective circle around them. Jackson pulled May aside. The club has established a scholarship fund in Lily's name. It will support children who show awareness and compassion in their communities. May's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. Jackson shook his head. We should be thanking you for raising a child who reminded us what matters. As the day ended, May and Lily drove home. The sun was setting. The Montana landscape rolled past the windows. May glanced at Lily. How do you feel? Lily was quiet. Then she spoke softly. I'm glad Marcus is okay. I'm glad other kids are learning to notice when people are sick. But I just want to be a normal kid again. May smiled. You are a normal kid. A normal kid who did something important. And that's okay. Lily nodded and looked out the window, feeling at peace. Months turned into years. Lily grew older. The memory of that October day became part of her identity, but it did not define her. She remained quiet, observant, kind. She excelled in school, she made friends, she lived a happy life. Marcus continued to recover and thrive. He remained the leader of his club, with a renewed focus on health and awareness. He spoke at events across the country and always credited Lily with saving not just his life, but countless others through the awareness she inspired. The Lily's Lesson program became a permanent fixture in schools and community centers across multiple states. Thousands of people learned to recognize the signs of medical emergencies. Lives were saved. Families stayed whole. May watched her granddaughter grow with pride and love. She knew that Lily would face many challenges in life, but she also knew that Lily had something rare, the ability to see people, truly see them, and to care enough to act. The motorcycle club remained a constant presence in their lives. They were no longer strangers in leather and patches. They were family, chosen and earned through mutual respect and shared purpose. The story of Lily and Marcus became a legend within the biker community, a reminder that heroism is not about violence or dominance. It is about attention, compassion, and the willingness to step forward when others step back. Lily did not set out to become a hero. She simply noticed what others missed and chose to speak up. That choice saved a life, inspired a movement, changed a community. The story reminds us that children are not too young to make a difference, that bikers are not the stereotypes society projects onto them, that strangers can become family when they unite around protecting the vulnerable. Every person has the power to notice, to care, to act. The question is not whether we have that power. The question is whether we will choose to use it when the moment arrives.